In this little video, we're going to think about three foundational ideas for economics. We're going to think about the basic economic problem, we're going to look at the factors of production, and we're going to consider the concept of opportunity cost. So we'll start with the basic economic problem. This is a key idea in economics. It's a problem which is faced by every single economic system. It's the problem that economic systems are there to solve. They never will solve this problem because our needs and wants are infinite, but the resources available to satisfy those needs are finite, are limited. There is scarcity. There aren't enough resources to go around to provide us all with all the things that we need and want. Just think about our kind of Christmas present list that we might come up with. If we had every gift on that Christmas present list, it's likely that we could come up with another list just as long. It's not that we're greedy, it's just in our human nature to always want more, to maximise our welfare. So we've used this word scarcity. In economics, scarcity or scarce does not mean rare. Something can be very common, but it's still scarce because there is a limit to its availability. So unless something is absolutely unlimited, if there is an infinite amount of it, then we can describe it as scarce. So just because something is relatively common doesn't mean that it's not scarce in an economic sense. Factors of production, the things that we need to use in order to make goods and services. They can be divided into four categories: land, labour, capital and enterprise. So to make a good or service, you need to combine land, labour, capital and enterprise. By land we mean anything that is a natural resource, so anything that's used in the production process which is natural, which has not been man-made. So anything we extract from the earth. So we could be thinking about the land itself. We could be thinking about things that grow on the land. We can extend that to things that are in the sea. We could think of things that are in the air. So for example, a carrot which is grown in the ground is classed as land. Nature has made that resource, not people. Labour is nice and easy to understand. It's the work which is done by people. Capital can sometimes be a more problematic concept. Capital is man-made resources. Think of it as machinery and equipment used in the production process. So for example, I'm using an iPad to produce this video. So the iPad in this case is capital because I'm using it to produce a good or service. Enterprise is the factor of production which is provided by the entrepreneur, the person who is making the decisions about what we should make and how we should make it, the person who takes the risks, the person effectively who organises the other three factors of production, who has to put money into the business in order to get the land, the labour and the capital into the place where they're needed, maybe trains the labour in order to produce the goods and services which are required. So a risk is being taken and decisions are being made. Each of the factors of production must receive a reward for being involved in the production process. So land receives rent. So if I own some land and a firm wants to use it in the production process, they must pay me rent for that land. If I provide them with labour, they must pay me wages. If I provide them with the means to buy capital, if I lend them money to buy capital, I pay them they pay me interest. And if I am the entrepreneur and come up with the ideas and I take the risks, then I will receive some profit. So land receives rent, labour receives wages, capital receives interest, and enterprise receives profit. The one that students struggle with a little bit is interest. So think about the firm having to borrow money to buy capital, and if it borrows money, it must pay interest. Okay, so just to finish off, Let's talk about the concept of opportunity cost. This is a key idea in economics, and it's when we express the cost of one decision in terms of the nearest foregone alternative, or the next best thing that we've given up. So, for example, if I decide to buy a black t-shirt, it means that I have to give up the opportunity to buy the white t-shirt that I can no longer afford to buy. If I choose to produce an economics textbook, I give up the opportunity to produce a business textbook, which I no longer have the resources to produce. So we are expressing the cost of one decision, whether it's a production decision or a consumption decision. We're expressing the cost of that decision in terms of the thing that's been given up in order to make that decision possible.